Welcome to ABC Interactive English. Hello everyone, I'm Mike.
Hello everybody, I am Shane, and today we are looking at part one of understanding and respecting differences.
Ooh, good topic.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking specifically about someone leaves Taiwan, goes to another country, let's say, for example, America.
Okay.
And they go there, and there's a lot of different types of people, lots of different cultures, and you're going there and you're trying to fit in, and people might think that, well, you're a little bit weird because you're not like everybody else.
Absolutely.
You're different.
Yeah, when you come from a part of the world where most people are kind of the same, look the same, speak the same language, eat the same food, and have the same traditions, culture, and maybe even religion, it can be a big shock when you go overseas and people are different shapes, sizes, colors, different languages. When you're on the bus, you can hear 4 or 5 languages around you all the time.
That's really common where I'm from, in Los Angeles.
Oh, absolutely.
There's just, it's very...
You've got Japantown, Koreatown, a lot of Latin American, Mexican people.
There's all different types of cultures there.
Yeah, absolutely. But we all have to get along, and you can't just complain and not like these situations, especially if you want to live in those places. And so it's just as important for us to understand and respect differences between us and them as it is also for people to understand and respect your differences as well.
That's right. So yeah, definitely moving to another country, another part of the world is a frightening experience. Could be quite scary and uncomfortable, so understanding and respecting differences is quite important.
It is. It will make you a happier person.
Let's get into today's lesson.
All right.
Carol understands and respects people's differences. That wasn't always the case. When she first arrived in the US, she saw all kinds of people. They had different eye, hair, and skin color. Their bodies were also different shapes and sizes. They had disabilities, but were still active in life. It was all new to her, so she just stared and stared.
Okay, so part one of understanding and respecting differences. What is a difference?
A difference is something that is different.
That's
about it.
There you go.
We're probably not talking about differences that you might change every day, like, oh, there's a difference because you're wearing a blue shirt, I'm wearing a green shirt. We're talking about parts of your personality, your character, who you are. Often things that you can't really change as well, and that's why we can't blame people or get upset for their differences. If you're from a different part of the world, have a different color skin, speak a different language, or go to a different type of church or temple, these are the types of differences, both physical and cultural, that we need to understand and respect because everyone is different. Everyone has differences.
Yep, nobody's the same.
No, that would be boring.
That would be really boring. Okay, so let's start this article.
Okay.
Carol understands and respects people's differences.
Good.
Good job, Carol.
Yeah, well done.
That wasn't always the case.
Oh.
Just meaning she didn't always respect people's differences.
Now she's understanding Carol, but before she was not understanding.
Maybe a bit close-minded.
Yeah, not nice Carol before.
Okay. When she first arrived in the US, she saw all kinds of people.
Sure.
And like you mentioned, this could be people from different religions.
Yep.
It could be people who just have a different skin color. People speaking different languages.
Sure.
You know, fat people, skinny people, all types of people.
Exactly right. And if you come from somewhere like Taiwan, Korea, Japan, these parts of the world, you know, they have foreigners who live there, but much fewer numbers, more people do look similar or the same. North America, Canada, America, Europe, France, Britain, Germany, very different. You'll see people of all different types. As it says, they, the people she saw in America, they had different eye, hair, and skin color. So these would be physical differences. Their bodies were also different shapes. Tall people, short people, skinny people, fat people, that kind of thing. Whereas wherever Carol was from, people look generally a little more similar, more kind of the same.
Maybe she's from Taiwan.
So their bodies were different, also different shapes and sizes. They had disabilities, but were still active in life. Yeah, and often in Western countries, you might find more people around you who might be in wheelchairs or have help moving or walking and things like that. Blind people walking around with dogs or canes. Sometimes you don't see this so much in other parts of the world.
Not so common in
Not
Taiwan.
so common. Yeah,
actually.
absolutely. So a disability is basically just something that you were born with or something that happened to you. And it just means that your body doesn't work or function in the way that other people will. You might have problems moving, you might have problems hearing or seeing or speaking. These can come, as I said, because you were just born a certain way, or maybe you had an accident or some health problem in your life, and you need help doing things that other people might be able to do on their own.
Okay, we have another vocabulary word, which is active. Now, active is an adjective. It just means producing or involving action or movement.
Okay.
So, for example, you can say, owls are more active at night.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah. You could say, I am an active person, meaning that I like to go out and go hiking and maybe play basketball, go swimming. That would be to be active. Okay, continuing the story, it was all new to her. So going to the US, all of this stuff is all new to her. So she just stared and stared.
All right, well, I guess it's kind of normal to stare when you see something new and unusual and kind of strange to you, but we should point out that staring is also considered bad or rude behavior in some... Impolite, not polite behavior in some parts of the world. If you're staring, you're looking very intently, in a very focused way at someone or something. If you're in trouble, your mom might be staring at you in a certain way that knows that you know that later on she will be a little bit angry or very angry with you. If you see something really unusual on the street, you might not just look at it quickly, you might look at it for a really long time and try to figure out, what am I seeing? But if someone is staring at you, it can make you uncomfortable.
Really uncomfortable.
Someone's not just looking at you, they're looking at you in a way that makes you feel nervous or like you're doing something wrong or bad, or do I have like food on my face? Why are you staring at me? Do I look funny or strange or unusual? So it can be, especially when someone has a disability, when it's something that a person can't change about themselves, but you're just looking at them in that way, it can eventually be kind of rude and impolite.
In fact. Okay, let's take a short break and we'll be right back.
When Carol started school, she faced other difficulties. Some kids shouted at her for staring because it was impolite. Other kids made fun of her bad English skills.
Okay, so welcome back. We had a little story about Carol going to the US.
Yes.
Now, it turns out that Carol now is quite understanding and respectful.
That's right.
Of people's differences.
Good for her.
Yes, but when she first arrived in the US, that wasn't so much the case. She was a little bit surprised by all the differences that she saw, and she would even stare at people because she noticed all these different types of people, even people with disabilities being active, and she just thought, this is a strange new world.
Absolutely. And it was strange and new for Carol, and that's okay, but it got a little bit rude when she was staring at people, making them feel uncomfortable.
Right.
You know, so this is something that she definitely would not want to do if she's going to live there. And then it says, when we get back to the article, when Carol started school, she faced other difficulties. So a lot of these new and surprising things would have happened in the first days, weeks, and months she was in America. But then once she started going to school and being with foreigners more often there, she had other challenges or other difficulties fitting in and being comfortable at school.
There's going to be a lot of things that are going to be hard to do or to deal with or even to understand, especially if you don't speak a language. That's just what a difficulty is. Hard to do, hard to deal with, hard to understand.
Absolutely.
So for example, Edgar has difficulty with his English homework.
So he doesn't find it easy.
It's not easy
for
him.
It's
Right.
hard and challenging.
So continuing the article,
some
kids shouted at her for staring because it was impolite.
Yes, in America it would be impolite.
We do not like to be stared at.
What are you looking at? What are you looking at me for?
What's your problem?
Yeah,
Why are you
exactly.
staring at me? Other kids made fun of her bad English skills.
Oh, okay.
Because she wasn't from there and her English wasn't good yet. So she had bad English skills.
Interesting. So it seems that both groups here are sort of not being understanding and not respecting differences. And both groups here could be described as impolite. When you're impolite, this adjective means you are not polite. You are doing something that people would say is rude or is bad behavior. If someone does something nice for you and you don't say thank you, that would be impolite. If you're sitting at dinner and you're eating your food like that in a loud way with your mouth open, people would say that is impolite. It's not polite. It's bad behavior. It's the kind of thing your mom or dad would say, don't do that. What are you doing? Stop doing that right now. Or you could be in trouble. So for her to stare at people in America, that would be impolite. But also for the American kids to say, ha ha, your English sounds funny. Because she comes from Taiwan or Korea or another country. That is also impolite because her differences should be respected just like she should respect others' differences.
Right. It goes both.
It's a two-way street.
Two-way street, exactly. Okay, well, that is all the time we have for part one.
Oh.
But guess what?
What's happening tomorrow?
Well, we've got another part tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to learn more about understanding and respecting differences in part
Carol's
2.
journey will continue.
Okay, so we'll see you then, and goodbye.
See you later.
Carol understands and respects people's differences. That wasn't always the case. When she first arrived in the US, she saw all kinds of people. They had different eye, hair, and skin color. Their bodies were also different shapes and sizes. They had disabilities, but were still active in life. It was all new to her, so she just stared and stared. When Carol started school, she faced other difficulties. Some kids shouted at her for staring because it was impolite. Other kids made fun of her bad English skills.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 difference 名词差异差别。There's a big difference between the two products. 这两个产品之间有很大的差异。下一个单字 active 形容词活跃的。The children were active during the game. 孩子们在游戏中都很活跃。 下一个单字 difficulty 名词困难。Peter had difficulties understanding the instructions. Peter 在理解这些指示时遇到了困难。Instruction 指的是指示，这里惯用复数哦。最后一个单字 impolite 形容词无礼的。It's impolite to interrupt someone while they are speaking. 在别人说话时打断对方是无礼的。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 That wasn't always the case. 那并非总是这样。Case 指的是情况、案例。我们来看看这个例句。They are best friends now, but that wasn't always the case. 他们现在是最好的朋友，但那并非总是这样。下一个文法 shout at 对什么对谁吼叫大喊。Shout 指的是呼喊喊叫。我们来看看这个例句。Eddie got angry and shouted at his son. Eddie 生气了，对他的儿子吼叫。最后一个文法 make fun of 取笑嘲笑，通常带有负面贬低的含义。Fun 是一个不可数名词，意思是玩笑。我们来看看这个例句。My friends made fun of my new haircut. 我的朋友们取笑了我的新发型。以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，我们下一课再见，拜拜。
Hey, it's Kiwi on the street. I'm Kiki.
And I'm Winnie.
Ugh, Winnie, it's so hot. I could cook an egg.
Oh, no, Kiki, I'm a vegan, so I don't eat eggs and I don't eat meat.
I'm gonna stop you there. I'm not talking about actually cooking an egg. I'm just comparing that it's so hot I could cook an egg.
Oh, it's a phrase, which means it's time to work on phrases.
It's time to work on phrases. Our first phrase is 抢走某人风头.
Still wants lightning.
Still wants lightning.
Still wants lightning.
Still wants lighting.
Still wants thunder.
Still wants thunder.
Still wants thunder.
Well, she knew that quite
She did
fast.
know that quickly because she is correct. Still wants thunder. Okay, but can you get this one?
未雨绸缪，以备不时之需。
Save for a rainy day.
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 Save for a rainy day. Are you sure? Don't look at me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah? That's because you're correct. Save for a rainy day. What did we learn today?
We learned some new phrases today, so let's check them out. The first one is to steal one's thunder, and it's basically to take away the attention from someone else and possibly even claiming somebody else's achievements or success. The origin of this phrase is interesting. In 1704, a famous literary critic, John Dennis, he created a new way of making the sound of thunder for his play. His show was a failure and the theater closed his show. However, soon after, in the same theater, a Shakespeare play was performed and they used his thunder technique. John was reported to have been seen jumping up and saying, "They will not have my play, yet steal my thunder." So that's how the phrase came to be. Our next phrase is save for a rainy day. This phrase means to put something away for a future time when it will be needed. This phrase is mostly used when talking about putting away money or saving money to be used in case something unplanned or unpredictable happens. And the reason the word rain is used is usually because we associate rain with something that's gloomy and dark. So it's referring to a time in the future that might not be the best. And those are our phrases for today. Kiwi later!